It is Monday, a new week, and Mark speaks. Jesus and his disciples came to the other side of the sea, to the territory of the Gerasenes. When he got out of the boat, at once a man from the tombs who had an unclean spirit met him. The man had been dwelling among the tombs, and no one could restrain him any longer, even with a chain. In fact, he had frequently been bound with shackles and chains, but the chains had been pulled apart by him, the shackles were smashed. No one was strong enough to subdue him. Night and day among the tombs and the hillsides, he was always crying out, bruising himself with stones. Catching sight of Jesus from a distance, he ran up and prostrated himself before him and said with a loud voice, "What have you to do with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I adjure you, by God, do not torment me." He asked him, "What is your name?" He replied, "Legion is my name. There are many of us." And he pleaded earnestly with him not to drive them away from the territory. Now a large herd of swine were feeding there on the hillside. They pleaded with him, "Send us into the swine, let us enter them." And he let them. The spirits came out and entered the swine. A herd of 2,000 rushed down a steep bank into the sea, where they were drowned. The swineherds ran away and reported the incident in the town throughout the whole of the countryside. The people came out to see what had happened. As they approached Jesus, they caught sight of the man who had been possessed by Legion. He was sitting there clothed in his right mind. They were seized with fear. Those who witnessed the incident explained to them what had happened to the possessed man and to the swine. Then they begged him to leave their district. As he was getting into the boat, the man who had been possessed pleaded to remain with him, but Jesus would not permit him, told him instead, "Go home to your family, announce to them all that the Lord in his pity has done for you." Then the man would often begin to proclaim in the Decapolis what Jesus had done for him, and all were amazed. The gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. It's always an interesting gospel, really. Who knows how much of the livelihood of the town were those pigs that ran into the ocean, into the sea. So you can imagine that they may not have been thrilled about this whole operation. But for the man wants to remain with Jesus. And what does Jesus say to him? Go home to your family and tell them what the Lord has done for you. It was all about one single soul, all about that man so possessed by Legion that he would cut himself and bruise himself, crying out. Can you imagine the horror of all that? And Jesus, well, he fixed it. He fixed it. He made the man whole again. He drove them out. He let him know that I don't think I can bear you being in this terrible position, this situation. Very, very powerful, wasn't it? Anyway, I've always enjoyed the gospel. I think it's one of the most humane and beautiful in the sense of the man sitting there. Can you imagine going up and saying, "Please take me with you. You freed me from unbelievable torture and torment. Can I go with you? I want to be with you. I would like to maybe be a disciple." You know, what we have are the barest snippets of conversations. Imagine the man begging him, "Please don't leave me here. Please, I want to start a new life. I want to be a disciple. I want to go with you." But Jesus says, give thanks to God for what has happened. Go home to your family and live your life. What a beautiful story. What a beautiful ending. Maybe not so much for the swine, but certainly for this man who never thought he'd have a life. You know, when you and I receive the Eucharist, Jesus is doing the same thing to us. Once again, how do we connect to the gospel? Very easy. Jesus is saying to us, be with your family, live your life, and in every way that you can, proclaim the love of God that exists in your heart. That man's love was so overwhelmed by thanks, he wanted to stay with Jesus. Be like you and I saying, "Gee, Father, can I sleep at the tabernacle tonight?" No, not really. But you can go home with your family and your friends and there live the gospel, live the love of the Lord, and make the world a better place. Proclaim the gospel to all. Take care, my friends. I'll see you tomorrow.
A reading from the book of Numbers. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to Aaron and his sons and tell them, 'This is how you shall bless the Israelites. Say to them, the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord let his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord look upon you kindly and give you peace. So shall they invoke my name upon the Israelites, and I will bless them.'" The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. And the responsorial, may God bless us in his mercy. May God bless us in his mercy. May God have pity on us and bless us. May he let his face shine upon us. So may your way be known upon earth among all nations, your salvation. May God bless us in his mercy. May the nations be glad and exult because you rule the peoples with equity. The nations on earth you guide. May God bless us in his mercy. May the peoples praise you, O God. May all the peoples praise you. May God bless us, and may all the ends of the earth fear him. May God bless us in his mercy. A reading from the letter of St. Paul to the Galatians. Brothers and sisters, when the fullness of time had come, God sent his Son, born of a woman, born under the law, to ransom those under the law, so that we might receive adoption as sons. As proof that you are sons, God sent the Spirit of his Son into our hearts, crying out, "Abba, Father." So you are no longer a slave, but a son, and if a son, then also an heir through God. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Alleluia, 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 alleluia. A holy day has dawned upon us. Come, you nations, and adore the Lord. Today a great light has come upon the earth. Alleluia, 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 alleluia.